Absolutely, sir.
Great. Thank you, fellow panelists. And looking forward to a great discussion today. We'll have a few other panel members joining us soon, but let's not sort of delay and let's start. Clearly, we've seen digital big foray, especially in the COVID time. And if they say if any person is more responsible or any situation for companies going more digital, clearly the winner prize is taken by COVID. And with this, as companies go more digital, as they're forced to go more digital, I'd like to open the discussion first with my fellow panelists, asking your Manish, your views. How has the banking financial sector been impacted with this? Is there a positive impact? If yes, how? Is there some learning? Is there some restrictions? What are your views clearly, as we go on today's topic on digital cybersecurity and data privacy risks, what are your views generally on this sector being impacted more during COVID times?
Uh, okay, so first is that the um, during the COVID times, the attacks or the cybersecurity part is something like which has become much more challenging. So we need to look into, because earlier there used to be a parameter, there used to be a place wherein I can make my users sit. They used to work in a controlled environment in a constrained work area with all my devices working and trying to, protect their data. Now the situation has changed completely. Now what is happening is that people are working from home. They are trying to get connected to, all these services directly from where they are sitting, and so it's becoming much and much more challenging for us to to ensure that first of all the data of the bank remains secure. We are able to provide these services to our internal as well as external customers at the same time. That is the biggest impact which is there. And of course the number of cyber threats have increased drastically. So I would say something like, if you talk about uh, like everybody is sitting at home, so in any free time the best way to make money is to start doing hacking. That's what people are doing. So the number of attacks, if you see, would have increased exponentially as far as the banking industry is concerned. That's what was my take on the same.
Thank you. Mr. Ajaya, clearly in line with the discussion on how we go digital, open banking and APIs, Bank of China does have the leading number of mobile phone banking customers with around 80 across 18 countries. And you've been a pioneer in new concepts like blockchain for real estate in Hong Kong, and most notably the Global Innovation Lab. What is your perspectives on the BFSI sector, especially across multiple countries? Sir, Mr. Ajay Rai? Mr. Ajay, can you hear me? Guys, can you hear me?
Hello.
Yeah, okay. Yes,
Hello.
sir.
I am audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, you're audible. Go ahead, sir.
Okay.
The question is, how have you how are you seeing this from a multinational across different countries, especially from a Bank of China perspective?
Yeah, see, Hong Kong, there are a lot of developments taking place in Hong Kong. Hong Kong is our technology hub, and whatever testing and innovations are being made in Hong Kong, it is passed on slowly to other countries. So, in India, we are just 1 year old. We are doing traditional banking. We are not into digital banking. So my presentation will be basically on Indian prospects, how we are doing and what we are doing. See, basically, my background is I am a central banker. I help from Reserve Bank of India. Post my retirement, I am working in Bank of China. So security prospects will be in general in nature. What I would like to say is, see, the generation is changing, the think process is changing, customer behavior is changing, the taste is changing, the attitude is changing. The new generation is coming, the new generation is different. Banks belong to the old generation, and banks necessarily have to change. Either you change or you perish. because the world coming forward, digital banking and technology will take the lead. If you are competent to bring in better technology, new technology, you will survive. If you are not in a position to bring in better technology, you will not survive. So digital is future. Consumers' digital interactions over a period of time will be streamlined. It will be moving away from using a wide array of point solution or apps. Open banking will allow fintechs, over-the-top banking players, neobanks, and greater access to data to support their business models. So, the more data you are having, the more powerful you will become, and the possession of data will make you will bring success for you. So, so the future is very competitive. The future competitive landscape and consumer experience, consumer expectations will be shaped by the new entrants. The new entrants are fintech, neobanks, over-the-top banking services providers, and the big technology service providers. Some banks could choose to disappear because they cannot compete. They will prefer to disappear and they will like to play banking from the background only. Global technical giants will exploit this situation, and with their technology powers, they will play a more important role in future, and probably they will start offering banking products. So the digital companies today like Google, Amazon, etc., you know, they will emerge as big competitors to our banks.
Thank you, sir.
So
I think
what
I also
is
need to answer
what
my fellow colleague. My sir, I'd like to come back to you. Just want to get Mr. Rahman perspective. I'll come back to your question. Mr. Rahman, you have a new application in Bangladesh, uh, which says City Touch, Soft Touch. How do you see the
How
uptake?
do
I think
you
Bangladesh has one
see
of
the uptake? I think Bangladesh has one of
the. You can go on mute, please. Uh, so Satya, you can go on mute, please. Thank you.
hello.
Mr. Rahman, as you were saying, Digital Bangladesh has been one of the fastest uptakes in your country. How do you find the scenario for the BFSI segment in your country?
Yeah, first of all, thank you. Thank you for inviting me. So there are a couple of sides in your questions, actually. If you talk about the inceptions, we can see the trend of bank versions. I mean, the bank 1.0 to 4.0. So 1.0 in the up to early 80s. So there, actually, we have uh, some kind of traditional banking. All things are manual. So then it is moved to 2.0 in 2007 with some extent that branch-based distributed channel. So it was kind of distributed model. Still, in our country, there are a lot of banks having this distributed model. So then after 2017, it is no longer in Bank 2.0. It is 3.0 actually. So where payments platform wallets are coming, then many digital payment platforms are created. So basically, I see from my perspective, it's a kind of a revelation moving towards the bank 4.0, that is the all digital, low overheaded, so mobile first, anywhere and anytime banking. So from another part of your questions, that the customer reactions or the customer outcomes would be something like, I can take one example, that 161 million users in US, and even 10 people in UK actually using the digital channels only for the convenience. So I would say customer convenience is the first thing, easy to use and real-time assistance.
Sure. Thank you. Now I'll go to my colleague who's just joined us from Bank of Baroda, Mr. Satyanarayana. Especially in these COVID times, with companies going more digital, what is your perspective? Am I audible to you, sir? From a banking perspective, especially for your bank.
Yeah, you are audible.
Go ahead, sir.
So
Yes, sir. Over to you, Satyanarayana.
COVID really created challenge to the banking industry because banking being an essential services, though lockdown is there, they have declared as essential services and they have to extend the services to the customers. And on the height of it, the government of India has also released some 3 or 4 tranches of financial support to the people. That's through banking channel. So public sector banks more COVID challenges, and the banks could able to adhere to the work from home norms, and still they were able to do the banking transactions. Recently, 3-4 days back, the Bank of Baroda MDCO has announced that going ahead with whatever the experience of 8 to 9 months of working from home, futuristic approach is telling coming 5 years the bank want to have 50% of the people permanently work. And in fact, in an audit department, I to reach difficulty monthly conferences we have, and during this COVID, yeah, we can't reach the people physically, so we started team meetings and all. So e-meetings. So now the meetings and the face-to-face interaction become more quicker and more faster.
Sure, sir. Thank you. Manish, Sehgal, back to you. With the India getting the new PDP proposed act for data privacy, you have a PDP act of data privacy, you have a banking regulation, you have RBI, you have different regulations. How do you find you are able to manage all of these different regulations? What is your secret sauce to complying to that?
Okay. The first thing is, people's life has become much more difficult than earlier it was. It's like, uh, first of all, we are not only
Manish,
supposed
little bit louder. Your voice is cracking. Little bit
okay,
louder. Thank you.
okay. What I'm saying is that a CISO's life has become much more difficult than it was earlier. So now we are
Yes.
not only supposed to, kinds of comply with the regulations which are there, but we are also supposed to ensure that the data also remains secure. So the Data Privacy Act coming across, and we were discussing it the other day, that earlier it was that if there is any information security related incident, then a CISO is supposed to go to the jail because of the incident which happened. And now the Data Privacy Act again says it that if at all there's a data privacy incident, then also somebody from the CISO's role will be going into the jail. So what we are trying to say over here is that this regulation is making it much more difficult for people to work in the information security domain. And
More
having said
challenging.
that, and having said that, so it's like earlier it was just hold on. There's a disturbance at my place. So yeah, so this is what is happening. So we keep on sanitizing, our floors at different times. So that was the announcement for that. Uh, so as I was saying, the compliance parameters have become more strict. Uh, the regulator keeps on, kinds of releasing these advisories, these notes, wherein we are supposed to comply with all of them. We are supposed to ensure that we are able to, provide these services to our customers in the best and the most secure way possible, and apply all these solutions as well, technological solutions, so that which could ensure that the whole ecosystem of banking um, is secure, is at the same time providing those relevant services to their customers. Uh, it's really difficult. It's really difficult, but yeah,
I understand.
Yeah,
Now
but
let's
what
go to
we are
Ajaya.
trying to do.
Ajaya, because you are India. I'll come on a solution part. Uh, I'll hold money because I have one more problem for you, especially the recent platform which has been raised. I'll give it to Mr. Ajaya. Manish is finding it difficult, but he's in one country. You are compounded by the fact that you are in multiple countries and you have to look at India laws and other countries' laws. Mr. Ajaya, what are your views? How do you cater for multiple country laws and each law in different countries being so strict? And do you believe the law in China is more stricter than India for banks, or what are your thoughts on this for security and privacy?
See, data privacy has two angles. One is the bill is being enacted in the parliament, that is personal data privacy, and other is what is implemented by the central bank, that is banking data privacy. The banking data privacy deals with the privacy of customers' information. The Reserve Bank is concerned with that only. See, customers' information cannot be passed on to a third party without his consent. This is the basic thing what Reserve Bank says. And more recently, what RBI has stated that customer data has to be stored in India. You cannot pass on customer data to a overseas country. So by customer data, they have given two angles to that. One is, payment system data, another is banking data. Banking data has to go to a foreign country because we are using the server of the mother country. The parent country's server we are using. So all the data, banking data is stored in the server. It has to go. There is no option away. What RBI has stated, the payment system data cannot go. So basically, what banks are doing, they are putting a separate server to segregate payment system information and banking information, and that payment system information data is not going to the parent country, only banking information is going. So now the distinction between what is payment system information and what is banking information, there was nothing like
That's a
that
tough
before.
one.
Yeah, there is nothing like that
Correct,
before
sir.
2006. 2006 Payment System Act was enacted, and after that the things are coming to our front. So before 2006, banking was there or not there? It was very much there. It was very much there. But now, because you are using a system, whether it is a RTGS system, whether it is a NEFT system, the data is being processed through that system, and when data is processed through a system, it becomes payment system data. So
Right, sir.
the the,
Uh,
the
let's
system
go to my
generated
colleague in.
data.
So you were
Okay,
saying it's
okay.
furthermore compounded. I'll get my colleague from Bangladesh. Do you think the laws of your country are equally strong, or are you facing similar problem as Manish and Ajaya mentioned, or is life a bit easier for you? And how do you comply with these? What are your top problems from a security privacy? And as Manish mentioned, the life of a security professional getting more and more difficult. Are you finding something similar? If yes, what is your
Yeah, let me explain in a different point of view. Basically, if we see the past statistics for a fraud or cyber attack, we see a lot of types of, a lot of kind of attempt, like online banking fraud, like related party or connected parties fraud, shell frauds, insider frauds, kind of loan frauds. So I would say if I see the statistics, it's more likely related. I mean, 80% of the attacks are insiders. I mean, the compromising someone inside in my team or maybe within the bank with the third parties or with the actually hackers. So from law perspective, it is okay, but yes, for regulations is tough. It is a kind of it's not only regulations. It's tough actually. So but again, it's possible to implement. But our parent bank or central bank may come forward with some proactive alerts, guidance, and some sort of changing the ICT security policy with up to the global standard level. I see data privacy or data uh, for security, if I segregated the whole security framework, it would be kind of infrastructure security, it can be application security, it can be endpoint security, it may be a data security. So all this kind of is a security, actually, the package of security actually. So I would prefer more on to improve the awareness program within the organization based on the nature and complexity, based on the size of the organization, and the kind of fraud that may happen. So awareness is the key. This is because this is the individual's responsibility.
Sure, Mr. Rahman. Mr. Satyanarayana,
Yeah.
the previous speaker mentioned about awareness is for internal, but I think you are doing a lot of things with awareness for customers from a security perspective. Could you share some of the good things? And I think Manish also is shaking his head, so maybe Manish can add after that. What are the good practices for security awareness for customers that you would like to share on this?
Before that, I want to add that it's a regulatory requirement also. The cybersecurity framework or the Gopal Krishnan committee recommendations, they mandated customer awareness also as a role of the bank. Okay, for in as far as this data the security is concerned. So there is a do's and don'ts checklist and a periodical sending SMS to them and periodical sending of leaflets to them, and call center itself is sending to the customers that the bank won't ask for your OTPs, bank won't ask for your passwords or credentials. So predominantly they are making, and at this time of delivery point, like a debit card, if you issue them or anything, if you issue them, you will send a brochure to them, and of late in some cities along with the cyber, like in Hyderabad and all, cyber police are very active. It's a very active cyber police is there in Hyderabad and Bombay also. So along with the police, local police and bankers put together, awareness programs are conducted, and a lot of these things whatever is there. So bank participates actively, and they, these awareness programs, they will call their customers also, whoever is there. Some evening programs are conducted to the customers about this awareness beside the call centers, SMS, and this of notifications, WhatsApp messages and all.
Okay. Manish, the government is in a package, and you can share the awareness for if you want to start with that. But a 75,000 crore package where they want companies to go more digital. They're giving a banking loan for all government employees up to 10,000 rupees without interest. This is clearly going to increase the foray for digital. Do you expect more frauds to take place because of this? Or what are you doing to ensure less fraud mitigations in this environment?
Okay, so the first thing I just talked about awareness. So awareness is basically something which is every bank's responsibility. These days in India, the major challenge is that the customer is not aware about what is happening, and they, just kind of bluntly share the OTP or about their personal details over the call or over, over on an email or something like that. So the most important part to look into is that the customers should be made aware through various channels, as Satyanarayana also pointed out, through sessions, through mailers, through SMS, and of course, so it's a bank's responsibility to ensure that the customers, money remains secure. That's what we are there for. So that's the first thing. And as you said that the kind of policies which are coming up and how that's going to impact the news frauds and all, yes, it's going to definitely increase. What we are trying to do is, we are trying to set up a system wherein the fraud management rules which are being set on the FRM, uh, they need to be monitored properly. They need to. So we what we are trying to do as a bank is that we are trying to set up new use cases as per these regulations, so that the appropriate, I would say the appropriate alert could be raised at the right time, so that we can prevent from all these frauds from happening. So if, say, for example, somebody claims that I am a government employee and I need, say, for example, 10,000 rupees loan, we would need to ensure that first of all the requisites which prove that you are the actual and the authentic person has to be there. And if there's a mismatch, the alert needs to be generated then and there itself in my team. So I can proudly say that, till now, what we have done is we've been able to control all the frauds whichever happen on any of the digital channels till now in our bank. And it's only because of the proactive ways and means which my FRM team is working upon, the use cases which we have implemented, and of course it takes a lot of effort in creating those use cases because you don't know what is going to click up that particular alert, yes or no. So the major is that. The major is you creating those systems wherein those alerts could be generated at the right time, trying to contact the customers, educating them about what is right and what they should be doing and what they should not be doing. Because definitely the frauds, as you mentioned, are definitely going to increase a lot. So, thank you.
Thank you. Back to Mr. Ajaya. You mentioned very well in the starting that the banking nature is changing, the banking customers nature of the customers changing. The more Gen Z is coming in, how do you ensure security? Is it more with the young guys? Are they less aware of privacy? Are they more secure? What are your thoughts as you rightly mentioned that the customer type, the attitude of the customer is changing? How in your bank are you addressing the Gen Z, the young generation, as they go more on the channels of digital nature? Mr. Ajaya?
Yeah, that's yeah. See, it's a very very informative question. See, whatever we are doing in this country, despite all our best efforts, the number of cyber crimes have not come down. It is going up, and COVID has given rise to more, you know, more rapes, more cyber crimes, and more pilferages world over. Not only in India, everywhere in the world, it is happening. Whether it is Europe, whether it is America, or any other country. See that apart. See what I want to stress is why this is happening. What is the fault with the banking system? The fault is we have failed to identify the customers at the time of onboarding because the onboarded customers are risky customers and prone to fraud. This fraud is happening through the banking system. What I would like to stress is the way the digital transactions are going up. Digital onboarding is also is the future. You cannot stop digital onboarding. You have to depend on digital onboarding because lot of customers are not coming with pen and papers and documents to the banks to open an account. So in futures, they will be more demanding and banks have to extend the facility of digital onboarding. When you are extending this facility, you have to be very strict about KYC. Once you are very strict at the onboarding stage, everything in future will be safe. So my stress is KYC should be more rigid in future.
Very well said, sir. Manish, you want to add to this Gen Z security?
Could you please
Sorry,
repeat that? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
sorry, Gen Z. How do you ensure security is maintained for the new people? The old channels will the awareness you mentioned may not be applicable to them. You have to use Instagram instead of a normal website. How do you think your channels of connection and security and even communication to this Gen Z is changing?
See, what is happening is, as you rightly said, so these people, all the generation Z, as you say, is basically they want the solutions which are technologically advanced, available to them, anytime. And what they want is basically, say for example, if I want to make a transfer to anybody, I should be able to do it in minutes, if not in seconds, and on top of it, what they want is that that banks should be the one who should maintain this and secure their data as if they are securing a Fort Knox. So it's like so again it comes back to one thing, as Mr. Ajay also pointed out. It's majorly about, first of all, educating the customers. They need to understand that as a bank, if we are responsible for ensuring the safety of their data, they themselves are also responsible for ensuring that they are able to keep their data secure. They
Do you think
themselves
they're
are
aware?
also.
Do you think they're aware, or they just think it's your responsibility?
What they feel is that yes, I would say, and it's a fact, in India, if you talk about, and this is basically coming from the data which I have kind of observed in my bank, the rural customers are more secure and they do not really like to share their OTPs or anything like that, while the people who are living in the cities are able to do that. I don't know
So they
why
won't.
this is there, but this is
So
a fact.
Satyanarayan, I'll ask Satyanarayan, what do you think? Why are people in the rural? Is that correct? Do you see that? Or are Gen Z thinking like Apple secure, bank should be secure? I don't care, not my headache, your headache. Do you think Gen Z is looking at that at those changes as the profile
We,
changes?
yeah, we do not have any statistics are clear this one. Like I agree with Ajay, in a police think tank also, they told that wherever cyber crimes happened, if your KYC is very robust, it could have prevented at the first stage itself. Police also looking to bank very seriously as far as proper KYC is followed while onboarding the customer. And another one, I see the problem in a different way. The senior citizens also, Association of Certified
Yes.
Fraud Examiners also told ACFA body, the senior citizens are more a victim and they are having more disposable money. So instead of the younger generation is one, and the senior citizens money also should be protected.
I'm not
But
sure they
as
have
of
more
now,
disposable money. They may not have
yeah, yeah.
disposable money, but they are more at a victim at a potential higher victim. I agree on that.
We had a small study in our bank wherever the study says wherever the average balance of the amount in an youngster and the average balance of a retired employee or senior citizen, that is much two, 3 times more because they spend less, so money will lie in the bank.
So
So
they
that is
spend
there,
less.
but a small study in our organization, some consultant has carried out, but they are more to prone to more risk. But as of now, Manish or Ajay may agree with me. I don't know. I do not have a differentiated security mechanism. Risk profile of the customer, I do not, my risk management or security protection, that kind of a maturity I have not yet actually have to come to such a level like a multi-layer security or multi-level like a youngster. The profile of the client, some kind of a security, and a senior citizen, such kind of a security. These kind of differentiated securities, and I can throw some light. You can throw some light. These kind of enablers are there. The banking may be protected, but as Ajay told, the of post-COVID, actually ACFE also mentioned that there's a 20 to 30% spike in cyber crimes globally, and this is a challenge, and we have to take this challenge, face this challenge.
I'll ask Mr. Rahman, do you think differentiated security is something you would look forward to? I can take notes and come back with a good solution, but I think it's a good thing come out from Manish, Ajaya, Satyanarayan. Do you think something like that is for the future? Like you have security controls from IPs and ranges and bad IPs, but do you think security differentiated also is the ask of the banks?
No, it's of course actually. So the trend of attacks said that before COVID it was roughly around 40%. Now it is increased to 80% more so on an average. So
And your
so
team
we have.
sizes remain the same. Your team size has not increased.
Oh yeah. That's right. Because in global statistics said the ideal IT team size should be 5% of total population of the company, but it is not yet. That's correct. Um but we can at least we can control with the some sort of kind of technology or the security appliances like SIEM. So we have DDoS kind of thing. So these are privilege access management system, database access management system. So this kind of tool will help us to monitor those people. Normally I will say in differently that I will connect PPT, means the people, process, and technology together to ensure the security. No matter it is really the new people or the aged people.
Do you agree with this? What you mentioned, a very important point, Manish. He said global security standard is 5% of your security people should be equal to a maximum number. Do you follow the same thing, or any other companies you think follow the same norm? Or what's the number in your
No, I
company?
don't. I believe that we should have more number of security people in the organization, more number of IT people
Is
in
the
the
ratio correct?
organization.
Is the ratio 5% or 1%, or what is your ratio?
I mean, 5%. I mean, if you talk about from my bank standpoint, so it's basically being a small finance bank, being a new player. So, the size is still pretty small. I would not say it's even 1%. So it's like
Satyanarayana, your views. What do you think is the right view? What right percentage? 1%, the size of security team compared to the overall number of employees.
Sir, in the public sector space in India, the internal audit itself is having 1% of the employees in internal audit. Internal audit is much bigger than the security. Security may be 0.1%, maybe point 2 to 0.5%, depending on the size of the bank. So 1 lakh employees size you can't compare because certain roles have to be filled. But a little away from Mr. Rahman, whatever I am telling you is privileged identity management is there. Our super users access control more predominantly monitoring those kind of issues were there. But what I say, customer level also there should be some differentiation based on the profile, risk profile of the customer. Whatever Rahman is telling, data center privilege identity management is there, where key stakeholders were more elaborately screened and access control was more rigorously implemented through biometrics and all. I suggest such kind of an implementation based on the profile of the customer also, and there could be ceilings also. There could be a trigger of like INR 50,000. After that, some kind of thing that will protect those kind of things. I suggested as an internal auditor long back, 10 years back. I suggested to my bank. They told it's not possible in internet banking. I won't do more than a 10,000 rupee transaction. You allow me to put 10,000 cap. That I suggested Cooperji 10 years back. They told it is no, you are talking illogically. But after the Cosmos Bank incident, Reserve Bank of India now mandated. Now IT companies are trying to evolve that kind of things. So common sense prevails. Risk profile of the customer, young Manish told young guy who want a transaction spontaneously, or I told a senior citizen who want this one. So this kind of profile-based security measures may reduce this one. We have to make the cyber attacker a little more disturbing to penetrate, a little tedious. Ultimately,
Right, sir.
ultimate one of my colleague, he is incidentally hails from Cosmos Bank. So he suggested me, Sachinanda, you are there in this IT security and all. So you tell me why uh, the same thing, why it happened to me. I told him, Manish, I have to see Manish whether he agrees. The cyber criminal had chosen your bank. Had he chosen some other bank, that bank also should have hit. He has
So,
chosen
sir,
for whatever obvious reasons your bank. If you want to hit this administered 6 months targets oriented attacks and all, if they wanted to attack any bank, they may.
right, sir. So I think I like the way you put it that this Gen Z we discussed. You had a very good point why people of more senior in nature have more disposable income, not because of retirement money, but because they spend less, while youngsters spend more. We saw Manish mentioning how the young people want instant second money. We saw Ajay mention how the profile of customer is changing. How if you do good controls at the start, if you do good KYC, afterwards things are much better. We saw how Mr. Rahman mentioned how the profile is changing, how education awareness is changing. With this panelist, each of you has the last 35 seconds or 1 minute to give your closing comments, and then we close this. So starting with Manish, your last 35 seconds to 1 minute as closing statements.
Well, I would say that, uh, the way the banking is growing, it's really a fascinating time as well as a challenging time for all of us. We are there to, kind of ensure that the banking system remains secure as a whole. And we are there to provide our customers with the best possible services we can. Yeah. So yes, we are there. We are there to support you guys. We are there to provide the services which you want, and we will try and ensure that we are able to keep it as Fort Knox.
So clearly, fascinating and challenging times indeed. Well said, Manish. Thank you. Mr. Ajay, over to you. Your closing statements.
Yeah, see, the criminals are actually doing more research on crime than what the bankers are doing to safeguard themselves. See, I have listened to all of you. You are talking about senior citizens, rural people. I'll take 1 minute to just talk about a senior manager of a public sector bank. During COVID time, he placed a order uh, with a big basket. The order was not accepted. He placed it 10 times. 10 times it was rejected. Then he got a call from big basket saying that you are a honorable customer. We are unable to give you the supply through the computerized system. We will give you supply offline. This person was very happy. Oh, so very great, because there was a lockdown for 1 month and he wants a lot of stuff. So he was very happy. Then the other person said, you have to pay 30 rupees for our distribution charges. Oh, sure, I'll give it. Oh, then you have to pay it online. Yes, I'll pay it online. Then he sent a link and asked for the, OPT. This person, a banker, a senior banker, passed on the OPT to him, and within seconds, 20,000 was evaporated from the system. So it is your psychology, it is your, state of mind which is being exploited by the criminals. So we have to look at wider range of things than simply securing your IP address or this and that. It's a bigger thing. It's a social crime. It's a social event, and we have to look at wider angles. So what I said is, entry point rigidity is very important. We have to take care of that.
Completely agree, sir. I like the what your timeline. Criminals are doing more research on security and flaws than security guys should do. I think very well said. Over to you, Mr. Anisur Rahman. Your closing statement, sir.
Okay, so two sides of my talk, very little and short. One thing is Bangladesh is rated or ranked as 73rd in the cybersecurity index globally. So out of 100 nations. So again, in the top list of the France, Germany, and Estonia are there. But we are ahead of Sri Lanka, Indonesia, Nepal, Bhutan, like this. So one side of the game is regulators and the security likelihood or possibilities. So we all carries it, but as we move digitally, we are actually inviting more risk to our services, to our customers. We putting so many risks to our customers, money, deposits, all the stuffs. So again, there is no way to sitting idle without avoiding it. This is the real-time intelligence data integration rather than a slow analysis being performed after the fact happened. This is an open platform. There is no way a customer-centric open platform. So we have to invite more augmented reality to use blockchain. We have to use RPA. That's no doubt. Artificial intelligence, API platforms, hybrid cloud. So all together, we should be connected with very robust security platform inside and for the outsiders as well, so that customer can get feel this is a secured company, because the trend says customer are changing their tastes. If they don't feel the secured, it is a right organization to put their money,
Only 1 minute.
they may change. Yeah.
I think someone I think I like what you said. Security could be a positive brand enabler. You got to use new technologies, blockchain, IoT, whatever, to get more secure. I like the way you compared that you may be 73rd on the cybersecurity index, but you're still ahead of many other Asian countries, as you mentioned. So well done. Good luck for your journey. And Satyanarayana, last with the best to you. I can see the clock behind you saying that we're just over time. So
Yeah.
your few closing words.
Sir, as you said, the regulator or the country after the demonetization, what happened in India 3 years back, there's a lot of push by the government of India to do every transaction through digital mode. And there's a concept called the aspirational districts floated by Niti Ayog. Some districts in the country are aspirational districts where the district collector measures the banking services extended through digital channel also. There is a lot of push by the government on digital transactions and digital mode. And cyber security framework, Reserve Bank of India for security, a very robust security framework adopted, wherein the Reserve Bank says data with customer, data with you, or data with vendor, everything bank is responsible. Despite that, and the hackers, like my friend Ajay told, the hackers are state sponsored and advanced persistent threats are there. Like back home, my neighbor Bangladesh Rahman, what happened through Bangladesh Bank or what happened to Cosmos Bank in India, the Indian banking system will be protected only a state sponsored cyber support from the government. The way the government is pushing cyber transactions, they want everything to be done these days. The government should equally support the cyber security of the banks. That should be done. As I am telling you, Cosmos Bank, the commissioner, she's a lady commissioner in Pune. She did a lot of jobs. She could unearth the money that's happened 2 crores or 3 crores in India, but not what happened. The money, like 90 crores siphoned off out of the country, she could not get even a pie of it. So the government should support proactively. There should be the Department of Technology at DOIT. They have to proactively they have to support in cybersecurity front. Then only whatever the digital transactions will be safer and the safety. I told one of the police commissioner, when my 10 lakhs was stolen in my currency chest or in my safe, it's a police CBI, I will go to FIR. 10 lakhs was stolen. Police is responsible to get the money back. If 100 crores was siphoned off from my server, so Manish should accept with me. 100 crores was siphoned off from my server. So for 10 lakhs, police sub-inspector is responsible to catch the thief. For 100 crores, whether police is responsible or not, definitely government is responsible. Government should protect the banks. Then only this journey can be smooth and it can be safe both to the banks and both to the customers.
On this visual note, sir, I think you well captured. And I like the example, 10 lakhs was stolen, police is in charge to get the money back, but for a larger amount, who's responsible, whether it's government or yourself or combined. On this question, on nice note, we end this discussion. Thank you so much, panel members. Really appreciated, enjoyed having this great, frank talk. Lots of insights for myself and I'm sure all the audiences. So thank you so much, Manish Sehgal. Thank you, Ajaya Rai. Thank you, Mr. Rahman. And thank you, Satyanarayana. Great. Have a great, safe day ahead. God bless. Stay well.